Stockpile Hobbies.
Alright, so we have to make this track adapter here. This is the lifelike piece. This is the Tyco piece. We need to measure the middle line of this piece here. This, of course, is a 6-inch piece of track. So at the 3-inch mark, we're going to make a line. So that's flush. Doesn't have to be exact. There will be some flex and play in this. Do the same for the Tyco piece. What's nice about the Tyco piece is the push rod for the back, for to push the plastic out of the mold, is the center line. Now turn on your Dremel and cut them in half. What I'm going to do now is to go through and just sand this down, make it a flat edge. So I kept sanding 2 pieces down and I got them very well matched. The slots are the critical areas of the whole piece when you're doing it. It's okay if you have large holes over here on the sides. What really matters is the gap between the slots, and you're going to want to keep sanding it down the edges until you get pretty level like that. So for the next part, to connect power across the two, we're going to bridge the rails. You can just solder right into these soldering points here. We're going to run leads off of them, and then I'm going to use these Dean's connectors to actually make the electrical connection, but to also serve as a joint between the 2 pieces to help hold them together. To do that, to lay these down flat, we got some grinding to do of the 2 inside rails right here. You see these Dean's connectors, they're lopsided. So what we want to do is make sure that the tall part is on the side, and we grind down the power rail here to accommodate the other connection to be flush in that manner. And that should allow the track to almost lay flush as well, as you can see. Alright, so now we're going to just route out the inner rail on each side. I have a routing bit on my Dremel, and here I go. So the real trick here to doing this is going back and forth. Do a little on this side, let it cool, do a little on this side, let it cool, going back and forth. And that came out pretty good. And now we're just going to strip off some of this wire. Beautiful. Do both sides. So now I'm just going to run some flux onto the joints here that we're going to be using. Those 2. This one where, like I said, we're going to do directly right to the rail. And the other one's going to jump over to this spot here. I'm going to add solder now to the 2 joints here, and the joint here, and the rail. I run my soldering gun at 325, and I'm using leadless solder. Actually, while we're here, we'll do the wire too. So the idea is to add solder to both sides and then solder them together like a sandwich. There we go. Add some to the wire. Now that we have solder on both pieces, we can just sandwich them together and solder them. So that solder joint looks really good. I'm going to do it again with this jumper as well. So be careful when you're soldering too. This one got a little hot there. Just got to be quick with it. So now I'm just going to add some flux to the Dean's connectors. I can just do that now. There we go. And then I'm going to put this in a vise and I'm going to tin it, which is just like I did to the joint here. I'm just going to run some solder onto the joints. I forgot to hit record. But anyway, same thing. These were done in flux. And then I just loaded some solder onto the iron and dabbed it onto the connecting ends on top, and then onto the side, the same thing, load it up, push it onto the side. And while I have it here, we're going to tin the 2 other ends of the wires as well. we are just going to press the soldering iron onto those two pieces. And I'm going to use this to keep it square because I want the wire straight on it. And there we go. I'm going to let that cool a little bit because it's going to get hot to touch. Well, while that's doing that, I'm going to position the other jumper into position. There we go. It's a pretty good connection. I'm going to add a little extra solder to the back side of it. The wire's really stiff because it's so short. Better just to add a little solder to the joint than try to force it to connect any better. I'm impressed with that. Looks a lot better than the first ones I did in my first video. So now for the other side, we are going to solder this connection right to the rail right here. And the other one, we're going to run a jumper wire that comes over to this point here. So of course I had a glob of solder fall down and melt my track on the one side. Nothing's perfect, right? So I have this one all prepped. As you see, I've already did this wire onto the side. This is not locked down, but it's pretty hard to move. I'm going to glue it in place though. So I built up the solder ball there some more, and I have a big ball of solder here too. So the idea now is to run the joint like this, and then run my wire connection over the best route and do the joint here as well. All right, so we gotta be careful, it's just starting to get hot there. But it looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. And it's soldered in. And for the most part, it is pretty flat. It's the best I could get it. I'm going to clean up the slots a little bit with a small screwdriver. I'm just going to widen them a little bit. Make sure that there's nothing in the way that blocking it. You see over here, I can widen this channel some more. It'll better match. And I just happen to have two 1/16 drill bits. This is the size that works good. And now we put our drill bits in. So that makes sure we have a straight connection between the two pieces. And now we know with confidence when we do attach the other side of the Dean's connectors that they are going to align correctly with the slots in this manner. So we're going to leave this in until we're all done. So I've gone ahead and tinned the two connections that I'm going to use and the wire as well. And now we are going to do the first connection over here on the side with the one that is already soldered on. So I am going to connect the other end. So this one we're going to connect straight into the tap right here. I'm going to tin these now. Alright, so I have a really tiny jumper wire here that we're going to run straight. There we go. Track looks good on the back. And now I'm just going to push the wire down on top of the Dean's connector and solder that as well. There we go. That looks perfect. So now we're going to tap in the far side slot. And now just connect this wire to the other side of the Dean's connector. I know you can't see it on camera. Sorry. There we go. And those are done. You can see. Alright, so now I'm going to connect this little short lead again to this rail piece. There we go. And now do this lead to that side as well. Put it between. Heat them both up, take it out, and sandwich. Let's burn ourselves a little hole here. Clean the top of the soldering gun. As you see, I burnt a little hole through the channel here, cleaned the gun, and now I can run my wires straight over and into the other lead. I could have done it right here too. It just feels like it's so close to it, I can just run the wire down. Alright, so This one's soldered in, so I'm not worried about too much movement there at all. I am going to add some super glue around the edges though to help secure the back sides in. I still have the drill bits in, holding everything nice and aligned. So there we go, it's all glued together. We're going to let this dry for a little while. And then we're going to come over here and I'm going to run a clean piece of tape over all this. And then I'm going to cut out, we're going to open up the rails in the slot. Now remove the portion that you cut out to reveal the drill bit. And once you get it all cleaned up, it will look something like this. You can remove your drill bits. Our channels look pretty aligned there. I think we're going to have a winner. I'm going to take this over there now and connect it. So, our adapter, what did we need it for? I wanted to use these Tyco controllers here as a set and forget voltage for the return loop. So we also extended the other controller so it's all the way down here. So one person will stand down there, load the cars, we'll do our race, and then the other person will remove them from the track and put them on the return back home. So to use this, I had to make the adapter we saw. This is the Tyco side of it, this is the lifelike side of it, working perfect. There's some trouble with the area over here. These tracks have not been cleaned yet. It's a little rough going, but the cars tend to get through now. So, we're going to do a mock drag race now. Enzo is in the red Lamborghini. I am in the yellow Charger. And we don't have the tree over here yet, but we're going to do ready, set, go! Woo. Now Enzo loads them up, and they come back. And we go again. Ready, set, go! So like I said, once you have these set, no, these are hands off. You could also have the cars go back and forth. You could try to line them up at the same time and see if they collide in the middle. So we hope you liked this video, everyone. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And keep having fun, everyone.
Bye!
Bye-bye.